That one was really, really explosive at the start. You started to see MJG and Mr. Doom starting to get a little bit more momentum once they slowed the game down and started separating out a little bit. When everything's in a big corner and a big pile, it seemed to be benefiting Freezer and Doom+Bot a lot more than it did MJG and Mr. Doom. And so maybe in the second game, we might see them work a little bit more on slowing that game down, about keeping everybody from being like right on top of each other the whole time.
Because the way I can see that matchup going is you're going to want Villager to, use a lot of those forward airs and back airs, those things, just to space things out, while Cloud would get that limit charged up and going. And then once the limit has been obtained, then you can play just a little bit more aggressive, use projectiles to space things out, and then when that space opens up, just go for the cross slash, the climb hazard, anything you want to try to finish out those stocks. And going on to game 2,
we got the run back.
Run back to Town and City. They feel comfortable, like they think they can actually dominate on this stage.
We get a lot of aerial combos here, and you can see that Freezer and Doom+Bot are focusing down on Mr. Doom so much to try and make sure that limit isn't getting charged or they're just sitting idle, especially if they're already noticing the fact that he's not really one to pull the trigger on it that fast.
And Mr. Doom just going out for the limit cross, saying, just get out of my face. Freezer was putting a lot of shield pressure, got the true short, almost broke the shield.
Oh, but there's the
there. And speak of the devil, and he shall arrive. Commentator's curse at its finest. The true shorty is going to take that first stock off of MJG.
And MJG also ending up taking out Mr. Doom's stock there with either a forward air or back air. He got slingshot. That pebble enough to take him out.
MJG and Mr. Doom are behind quite a bit, and it looks like they're just losing that stage presence.
Yeah, a lot of stage control loss. They're stuck on those platforms a lot, trying to just get into an option. A little mistime there on the combo there with the back throw to back air.
We got that combo, not quite going to reach up there.
But now we've got stage control back to MJG and Mr. Doom. Mr. Doom and MJG able to reestablish a little bit of dominance on stage. But as I say that, we're starting to see another reversal of that. So we see these trade-offs in stage control. A back air, not enough.
Not quite enough, but limit had to be burned to get back to the stage. And Mr. Doom is going to lose that stock to Doom+Bot. Doom+Bot and Gary Freezer still have yet to lose one stock.
And just as we say that, boom, there goes.
I need to stop talking, apparently.
What I like there is that Doom+Bot went way low with the nairs to try and just pop the balloons. Not even going after MJG to get the damage, but trying to pop the balloons to gimp Villager, because once those balloons are gone, he's done.
And even if you get one of those, that vertical recovery just gets nerfed so hard, and then you get this two of them without it attacking him, that's just game over. But in...
Oh, we get another stretcher, but the stretcher's probably... Oh, but safe with the jump. Able to keep Mr. Doom alive, or keep Doom+Bot alive. Got Mr. Doom doing some
break going off, but it looks like...
And, oh, we just went for the up smash.
I think what Freezer was wanting to do is he was wanting to wait for Mr. Doom to come save and then hit both of them, which is what he did. He got an up smash out of both of them to try to get more damage off.
Knowing that the true Shoryu at 14% probably wouldn't kill anyway, so trying to get as much benefit out of that shield break as he can. And a nice move from Freezer there, avoiding MJG, just waiting out the 3-second invincibility frames before the bowling ball just comes and ends that stock.
And just sitting there trying to charge that side B, that Luigi missile, but Limit Crush was killing, come out, taking out Freezer's stock.
Waited for the little brother missile and ended up getting cross slash right in the butt. He just presented himself right to Mr. Doom. And some under the stage action going on.
I missed completely all of that.
MJG once again going back up with the up B, and Doom+Bot trying to get the nair popped balloons, and it ended up going against him that time, getting stage spiked from underneath Town and City.
And the climb hazard going to be back for that recovery. Looks like the stocks were even out quite a bit, but Mr. Doom has it at 127%, so he is at quite a disadvantage. But that is nothing that Cloud cannot recover back from. They are trying to play a little more patient. Mr. Doom is going to get that limit, so he is going to be able to come back on stage just fine. But with such a percent deficit, it's not looking really good at the moment right now for MJG and Mr. Doom.
But as always, you cannot count out a Cloud until it's gone. Like you're looking at a Cloud with max limit. You've got two players that are kind of squishy. But then the cloud goes away, so it doesn't matter that much. So now we've got a 106 villager going up against 2 under 100% and a forward smash coming out of Freezer.
Don't forget, MJG is the best in Kansas. He is the best that Kansas has to offer, so I can see him. I've got faith.
Well, he's staying a lot around edge, just trying to get himself back to a neutral where he can actually have something other than just back to stage options.
Getting back on stage with those nairs, and those nairs that have such a wide all-around hitbox.
And we're seeing Freezer just camping out with bears, waiting for
very patient play, turnips under the stage, nairing back on stage, but that forward air is going to
it's gonna be enough to take it. So that's 2-0, but they still have one more game to win before they take this set.
And as we all know, I believe in the reverse 3-0s. I know that this can actually make the two of them can come back, download their opponents, and just sweep the rest of this. Do you think we're going to see a character change from Mr. Doom to go to his Yoshi, his one true main?
I don't know. I think that I think it's going to be an all cloud, especially if they're going to plan on LTC, just trying to get more and more time here. It's a lot better to try and get more comfortable with the villager and the cloud matchup than it is to hope for the best in LTC.
They're probably just using this as a little test to kind of work out any of the kinks, any of the bugs with their synergy of the group. So. On to game 3, running back once again to Town and City.
We didn't see that the stage was really an issue on a lot of these stocks being taken. We saw one stretcher in between both the games. I don't think that the stage is really going to be an issue.
While it was a stretcher on Mr. Doom, it didn't actually stock. He did actually make it back.
Yeah, we had MJG lose a stock off of a stretcher.
Finishing touch coming out and taking Barrier Freezer. Good first stock from Mr. Doom. He's only at 43%.
And these two, between this game and last game, we're seeing a big difference in how Mr. Doom's using limits. Instead of just holding onto it and just waiting for an absolute perfect moment. It's knowing that when there's two other players, you're gonna have a chance to get that limit back just a lot faster than you are in singles. So saving the limit maybe not as good an option, and we see the benefits of it from a finishing touch. Going for it again,
but ends up taking a stock instead. MJG come back with a recovery. So is Doom+Bot.
Little counter team combos or the get up attack going into Freezer.
There's just so much happening down the lane, it's almost impossible to commentate.
And
up smash taking out his own teammates. So Luigi, Freezer is down just to one stock compared to
and now we're seeing a big change in play style, and you're seeing a lot more of Freezer and Doom+Bot getting in each other's way. Where they're seeing
going for that up smash is going to be taking that. Oh, doesn't get the reset. That firewall did not come out in time.
And so back here for Mr. Doom, and we might be seeing something happen here with some combos, but Doom+Bot there to break it up a little bit.
MJG has Doom+Bot off stage, but nothing's going to come out of that. Good tech from Doom+Bot's end.
Now we're seeing still more presence coming in, and more combos from that. But then
not quite going to kill, thankfully. That was not that strong hitbox on that free row.
But at that time MJG did end up taking out. He said, "If I couldn't take you out with the tree, I'll take you out with the."
Carry hit both Barrier Freezer and Doom+Bot, and then followed it right by the down air, taking out Barrier Freezer's stock and took out Doom+Bot's stock and almost taking out Barrier Freezer. Barrier Freezer is on the verge of losing that stock, but we will most likely see a share stock coming out of him.
Yeah, especially when Villager's sticking with 2 stocks. You've still got the Cloud on his last stock, and we're seeing a golden percent. But MJG losing golden percent right at that.
And it looks like they want to take out that stock ASAP so they can get that share stock, and then quickly right after that take out Doom+Bot. That could have been a make or break moment.
But we see another stage spike, and then the immediate shared stock.
They can't afford any time by themselves. That could easily equal 50 to 70% from a juggle combo.
Well, especially as much as Mr. Doom and MJG are getting a lot of conversions off team combos, and now we've got We've got MJG on his last stock.
Everyone down to their last stock on this one on Game 3 Winners Finals.
Seeing some...
Oh, that bowling ball is going to take it out. So we're down to the 2v1 situation with MJG and Mr. Doom against Doom+Bot. Mr. Doom has that limit on deck. MJG only at 16%, so this looks like this might actually go to the red team this time.
But we've seen...
There we go, yep.
But we've seen it before. Cloud was so explosive in that match and was such an important factor in that win where limit moves, not only the early game, final touch or finishing touch, but you also see a couple of cross slashes in there. Even if they don't connect, just letting them know that if you get near me, you've got a chance to get cross slash, and if you're going to get cross slash, you're going to die. So being able to play around that, giving MJG a lot more room to be able to move around and get the rocks out, get the trees up, and be able to work around and work together more.
And we are going into Game 4 of this best of 5 set. I don't know about you, but I want a Game 5 out of this. There's a lot of good movement, good spacing, just a lot of great options going through this game that I wouldn't mind seeing a Game 5.
Well, especially as good of a switch.
Oh, and looks like we are going to be seeing a potential character switch.
Well, once they figure out what, I think they've got the stage and they're maybe thinking about a character switch because we might be seeing something other than TNC today.
Looks like a lot of talking going on, a lot of pondering. Nope, sticking with the villager, but they are going to Dreamland instead.
And we'll see how Dreamland changes it. We're gonna see higher ceilings, but we're gonna see lower edges.
Lower edges, higher ceiling, static platforms, of course. Plus, you do also have the Wispy, could potentially make or break a team combo.
And there's always the opportunity for somebody to get pineapple. You never want to get underneath that ice cream cone. We're seeing some separation. Not as much of that grouped team playing from Doom+Bot and Freezer as we've seen in the previous game. But then the True Shorey
taking out Mr. Doom fairly early on because Barry Freezer only at 20%, Doom+Bot only at 66%, so that was a very early stock, not even a full minute in.
And we're seeing that separation again where they're starting to split up MJG and Mr. Doom, and they're staying separate from each other. Maybe the change in strategy might be a little more effective. Might be partially because of the stage change. We're looking at way less real estate on the stage itself.
Because Barry Freezer and Doom+Bot, they know that if they get into a 2v1 situation, that MJG and Mr. Doom, they are very good at the way that they juggle, the way that they handle their synergy is really great. But it's the same way for Barry Freezer and Doom+Bot. They have been teammates for quite a while now, so they also have that synergy. So if anyone gets caught in a 2v1 situation, they know that they could easily take a stock, so they want to just focus on that 1v1 situations.
And we see the limit climb hazard coming out to escape Doom+Bot's back air, and it almost looked like he got back air just straight up, but that climb hazard came out way high to try and save himself, and it worked out. And he got a lot of time just to sit there and charge limit.
And not sure quite what that was, but they did end up taking the stock. I saw an explosion and then just...
Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was a Shoryu there or if it was
It sounded more like
misfire.
I didn't sound like anything like that. I think that might have just been just a random Lloyd rocket came and hit them both.
And we're seeing Mr. Doom once again being able to get enough time to charge limit and get his limit attacks on deck. But it's still a fairly even game. Doom+Bot still hasn't lost that stock. And of course, there he goes. Back air.
But MJG does have... taking that stock off of Barry Freezer. The off stage with the villager is just so potent. Those forward airs, those back airs, they can easily just steal a jump from you.
Well, he also did a really good job there of positioning his balloons to where the Luigi rocket hit the balloon instead of giving him more sideways momentum, where he didn't have as much of an opportunity to recover. Luigi has a lot of options for recovery, but not a whole lot of them individually very good to get back on stage.
If Mr. Doom ended up losing that stock, even in the game now, to 3 stock on each team. Percents are fairly even as well, with MJG just a little bit behind, but Villager is so slippery, that 70% doesn't really mean much at all.
Especially when there's as much airspace as everyone's giving each other.
You see your shield break going off, so that is going to be the true shuriken for that stock, share stock right off the bat.
And now, a little nervous here because we've got the final stock for MJG, and he's sitting at 104. But the focus seems to be going on Mr. Doom to try and get as much percentage on that cloud.
And that looks good.
And a counter, and that will be the end. That'll be the end. MJG tried to save him, and then...
It's Optim MJG, but...
Wow, and the spike to end it. That was an exclamation point to end it in the winners finals. We see now Freezer and Doom+Bot headed to grand finals, and MJG and Mr. Doom still very, very good match. Taking that game very strong, very confident in Game 3 where they won. Game 4 was very, very close. That last stock, the last 3 stocks were really, really just explosive, quick games that weren't really indicative of how the rest of that match was going.